all my Crimsonites, and welcome to the Crimson Cure channel, where we embrace our femininity, increase our womanly value, and celebrate our brothers. So join me on our feminine journey to learn, heal, and grow. Hey there, everybody. How we doing today? Hopefully everyone is doing fine. Is everybody doing all right? Hopefully everybody's doing all right. So there's no video to play. However, I want to speak with you all as you sort of take in this photo. Now, this is a photo of Tia Mowry, her ex-husband, and their children. Apparently, they spent the holidays together. They spent Thanksgiving together. Nice photo. Both of them have their arms around their children. This photo and her caption, "We gonna be all right," sparked some rumors that maybe they're gonna get back together or something like that. I don't necessarily think that they're going to get back together. I don't necessarily think that they're going to do that. And not because I don't think she would want to do that at some point. I don't think that they'll get back together because Corey's not gonna go for it. Okay. Let me put it back like this. I don't think Corey would go for it at this point. A picture is worth 1,000 words. All of them have their shoes off except for whom? Everybody's got their shoes off. Everybody's comfortable except Corey. Because Corey's going to leave. Maybe shortly after this photo. Maybe spend a little bit more time with the kids. He's got both his arms around the baby girl. She's got one of her arms around the baby boy. And she's got one of her arms on Corey's knee. Corey doesn't have his hands on her at all. Now, like I said, I don't think that this photograph means anything more than a family spending the holidays together, because no matter what Tia and Corey go through, no matter what foolishness she do on TikTok, no matter what's going on with that, they are still a family. They are still the parents of those children. She's still mommy and he's still daddy. Okay. And so it's not a big shock to me to see two co-parents co-parenting and spending that time together, because this would have been, if they didn't spend any amount of time together for the holidays, this would have been the kids' first time where mommy and daddy's not there at the table with Thanksgiving and stuff like that. And I think it might have been too much of a shock to them to not have that. Okay. Okay. So that's what I see when I see that photo. I see two co-parents. I see two parents of two young children. But I'm going to tell you what else I see when I take a look at this photo. I see a woman that's doing her best to be right in the wrong decision. I'm going to say that again. I see a woman that's doing her best to be right in the wrong decision. We gonna be all right. And you may be all right, but not because of you, Tia. You might come out the other side in some kind of way, but it won't be because of you, ma'am, because you put your family in a position to have to adjust to a new normal. Because nothing hurts you when your family is no longer a family, be that from a divorce or a death or something like that. When your family not a family, it hurt the most around times where you would have come together. And for most people, that's the holidays, Thanksgiving, Christmas, New Year's, birthdays, things of that nature. It show up the most then. Like, okay, now we've got to create new boundaries. Now we've got to have new rules. Now we've got to figure out how to do this thing in the least awkward way that we could possibly do it, when the reality is it would have been just easier for us to just be together. Why wouldn't we just be together? And let me just say this. There are always challenges in a marriage, especially when you get into those long relationships, those long marriages. You have to find ways to keep going. You gotta find way, after a certain point, you gotta find a way to stay, not a way to leave. Especially if there are no drastic problems, abuses, and so y'all know what it is. Minus those crazy things that absolutely would break a relationship up, don't care how long you've been together. You gotta try to find ways to stay at that point. And not only to stay, but find ways to stay in contentment as well. Find a way not only to stay, not to stay in misery and this and that, but to stay in contentment, to find the contentment again, because there was something that made you not only be there, but you stayed this long. Let me get to these super chats real quick. Thank you, HVAC. A Crimson had to cook a troll who called me an undercover divester because I said marriage is dead in the Black community. How am I a divester when I support Crimson for 5 years? These trolls, man. Thank you, HVAC again. Said don't do it, Corey. Run. Thank you, Miss Mia. Said she could have left her shoes on. Thank you, Mike. So I was thinking that this is a reach for her. Women like to mark their territory too. The hand on the leg, in my opinion, is her trying to ward off other women, which is possible. But the other side, that's a part of what I see in this photograph that they took. Get a better look at it. I see a woman that's trying to be right after she has made the wrong decision. I think Tia realizes her decision was not a good one. Seemed for whatever reason like a good idea at the time. It might even have seemed like the only idea at the time. But time is a funny thing, because she might have realized that the streets are cold and they don't love nobody. See, there's nothing over there. There's nothing in those streets. There's nothing going on outside of that family unit that was enough to replace it in a positive way or to surpass it. And that's the thing that I need women to start thinking about as you go with this whole, you gotta see, for yourself, and you gotta do things that serve you, even if that means break up a whole entire family unit. I'm gonna need y'all to think before y'all act. Because whatever is going on, whatever good has happened in this relationship, if you leave it, you need to ensure that whatever you leave it for, the good of that thing overshadows the good of the relationship you left. Because if it don't overshadow, and I mean in the long term, overshadow what you left, you took a L for that. You took a L for that. Ain't no way around it. I'm gonna need women to stop thinking that marriage is some sort of Disney fairy tale thing. It gets down into the trenches. And only women who have been married for a long time understand the trenches of a marriage. Especially if you've been 10 toes down in that whole relationship. You've been loyal, you've been honest, you've been there, you've been supportive, you've gone to the ups, you've gone to the downs. And every marriage, the trenches look different, but they still the trenches of a marriage. And when I say the trenches, I mean those, when you get into a marriage, you got to dig both your hands and feet in and hold on. And don't nobody know nothing about that no more. When my first husband passed away, there was a part of me that was like, man, I want the covering of another man, right? I want a husband again. But there was a bigger part of me that understood that I needed time, not only to grieve and heal, but also get my mind back to say, I'm ready to get back in the trenches with somebody. Okay? Because ain't no such thing as we ain't together. Ain't no such thing as we about to get divorced. Ain't no such thing as I'm bored now. And so now this ain't good enough. And I need to find the next high so I can do something else, so I can get that high feeling and that euphoric feeling, because, we ain't in this little feeling no more, and blah, 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 blah. All of that nonsense. The street don't love nobody. And it ain't nothing out there. Nothing. You got to be ready. You have to, I've said this before, you got to wake up every morning and make the choice to be content, to make the choice to maintain and remain in your marriage. You got to make that choice consciously. That's a conscious choice. And too many take these relationships for granted. And it don't really make no sense. Because, like I said, if you get another man, you're going to do all the stuff that would have kept your marriage afloat and would have kept it in good standing and in good shape. Because once you've had that time away, once you've gotten, quote unquote, got yourself out of the covering of your husband and stuff like that, then you start looking at your marriage from a different perspective. You know, the stuff that annoyed me so much every day, now that them things ain't happening no more, sometimes you start to be like, well, why was I so annoyed by that? That wasn't nothing. Why did that bother me so much? Why did this thing bother me so much? Why did I allow these different things to bother me to such an extent that I was willing and ready? And not only was I willing and ready, I pulled the trigger. I pulled the trigger on this relationship. So all the little quirks and stuff he used to do that just got on your nerves so bad that you thought you would explode the next time he did that same thing, or the next time he told that same story, or nitpicking at it. And once you've had, because it's almost been what? It's been close to a year now, so it'll be creeping up on a year. Because didn't they divorce earlier this year or something? And once you've had that time out of it, you start thinking a bit differently about that relationship. You know, was it that bad? Was it as bad as I thought it was? Yes. Let me tell you what a bit of separation is supposed to do. The separation, if you got to do a separation in your marriage, the separation is to figure out how to be back together, not figure out how to leave. They absolutely use it wrong. The separation portion, if you have to go through that, that is supposed to give you a moment to breathe outside of the day-to-day mundane little stuff, okay? And to give you a fresher perspective of your actual marriage, of the actual person that you married to just shift your worldview a little bit. Come out of, okay, everything they do is annoying and it's stupid and it's wrong and it get on your nerve and it make you mad and it tick you off and blah, 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 blah. All they shortcomings, all of they whatever. Come out of that. Go somewhere else for a while. And then you're supposed to think not about how to leave, but about how can we stay? How can we stay? Maybe I just needed a little bit breather, but I don't really want to leave my husband. Do I really want to live my life without the covering of my husband? Do I really want to do that? Do I really want to go through? Because it's something to go through after that divorce. It's something to go through. See, they like to act like you just free and there's nothing behind it. After a divorce, nothing happens after divorce. Plenty of things happen after divorces. Plenty of things. And it's a ripple effect that extend outside of the nuclear family that is immediate. The nuclear family is just ground zero. The separation portion is supposed to be what? Let's get down to the nitty gritty. Why do I feel this way? Why do my spouse feel this way? Where in our relationship did it take a left turn and it never got back right again? What can they do to change how they have looked at the situation? And what can I do to change how I have looked at the situation? And maybe if we look at each other and our relationship differently, we can approach it differently. Because apparently how we've been approaching it the last 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 years has not been it. I can't tell you how many people I have coached and spoken to who's on the brink of saying that they might want to end their relationship. And it is a task to get people to just look over here a little bit. You so focused on what you don't like. And it might be legit. Ain't nobody saying that it ain't never legit. But put some stuff into perspective is all I'm saying. Put some stuff into perspective. When I look at this picture, I see a woman that's probably capable of putting it into perspective, but she done already did what she did. And ego and pride will, even if she want Corey, ego and pride will prevent her from saying that. Because if she say it, she will then have to admit that she pulled the trigger in a situation that she didn't need to. And you never know what the reaction is gonna be from that man. To have pulled the trigger on a divorce when all you needed was like time at a spa or something. And I'm not trying to belittle it. But sometimes you just need to okay. Right? Do y'all understand what I'm saying? Even fighters get a few moments between rounds. Even boxers and fighters, they get a few moments between rounds. They get a breather. It might have been a 10-round fight, a 5-round fight, or whatever. The people fighting at least get a breather. Don't nobody expect you to fight 5 rounds back to back with no break. I don't care what kind of conditioning you've been in. I don't care what kind of shape you've been in. I don't care how you train. I don't care how good you think you are. I don't care how good you really are. Even a boxer, a fighter, a MMA fighter, hey, they ring that bell, go to your corner and breathe. Take a sip of water, look around, do something, do pop your, stretch your arm. Then you go back over there. Check in with somebody. That's what the break between rounds is for. Check in with somebody. How am I doing out there? Feel like I'm getting whooped. Am I getting whooped? Yeah, you kind of getting whooped. You know, you kind of getting whooped a little bit. I keep telling you, you go out there, you drop that right hand, you're going to get you. This is what we train for it. You remember that? You remember how we train for it? Now go back out there. Try not to drop that right hand no more. He going to hit you again. Or duck it or do something. So sometimes you do need a little bit regroup. But that regroup time don't mean blow your family up. That don't mean leave your family. That's not the regroup time. That's not the regroup time. Regroup time might be, I need to go talk to a therapist or something. Because I'm feeling away and it ain't really nothing happening that I should be feeling this strongly. So if nothing is truly happening that way, where I feel so strongly, perhaps it's the way I'm looking at it. Perhaps it's the way in which I'm going about how I'm perceiving what's happening in the marriage. How I now perceive my husband. What make me perceive my husband and our relationship in a more negative light now than I did a few glasses. I mean, a few glasses. See, I can't see stuff and read. A few years before. What made that change? Because 6 years ago, you couldn't keep me off this man. So what happened? What happened? And whether that thing is minute, small, whether somebody might say, well, that's a little thing that happened, why you still feel some type of way about that? Be honest about it. Be honest with yourself. Be honest with your husband. Well, this is how I feel. Well, you still mad about that? Well, I'm not mad about it. But I'm gonna tell you the root of how it made me feel. And ever since then, I've been looking at you different. And maybe that's not fair, but it's the truth. Or maybe it's the other way around. Ever since she said or did such and such, he pulled back. He didn't stop being the husband, but the little things went away. It changed. And instead of her trying to figure out why he changed, she just said, oh, okay, well, if you're going to do that, I'm going to do this. Well, if you're going to pull back this way, I'm going to pull back that way. We're going to go to a commercial break. So after these messages, we'll be right back.
Hello, my Crimsonites and all of my supporters. I invite you to go and get your copy of my new book, Reclaiming the Black Feminine, The Lies of Feminism and the Road to Recovery, on sale now at crimsoncure.com. This is guaranteed to change your perspective and positively impact your life. So go ahead now to crimsoncure.com and get your copy today.
So you definitely want to go to crimsoncure.com and pick up your copy of Reclaiming the Black Feminine, The Lies of Feminism and the Road to Recovery. I got some exciting things in the works because we are in the process of making this an audio book, because I've had people, several people actually, ask for the audio version to be available. So it takes a few weeks. I'm still in the process of listening to people. They audition so I can hear what they sound like. And once that part of the process has been completed, it moves on step by step. From what they say, it takes a good almost maybe month and a half, 2 months, something like that. So as that process is completed and gets near to completion, I'll have more of an update for you about it being an audiobook. Let me get to the super chats. Thank you once again, HVAC. Said Hyena saw Becky and Chun-Li knocking for Corey. Thank you, Ty Boxer. Said Corey's blessed because the content his character outshined her foolishness. Thank you, Cool Jamie. Said please show the hyenas walking with 2 feet. Do I still have that clip? I don't know. Thank you, Jonathan. Said women live their entire lives against the way of God, but expect to be treated like angels. Thank you, James. Said men and women don't think alike. If she left me and gave away some jelly, even if I did take her back, I couldn't forget it. Almost like being cheated on. Thank you, Ruminant. Said women don't value a man's covering until they've had it for a substantial period of time and lost it. After you no longer have the security he used to provide, it hits different. Exactly. Thank you, Mogul. Says she realizes it's real in the streets. Definitely. I don't have that clip anymore. I have to find it again with the hyena walking around. If I find it again, I'll add it. But so I need the hyena sound effect. Thank you once again, HVAC. Here you go. Here y'all go. I may not stay too long, but these are the things that I want to drive home. Ladies. There's nothing in these streets, I swear to you. I don't care what a hyena say what. I don't care if they tell you how awesome their life is and how free they are and all of that and how they living their best life and how, you know what I'm saying, they free to find themselves and blah, 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 blah. Y'all women, I'm telling y'all, if you can't point out the concrete things that's happening in your marriage that have absolutely made that marriage unsustainable. Because I'm not saying that there is no such thing. Because even though the Most High don't like divorce, he sanctioned it. So what that tells us is that there are times where there's no other choice. You got to leave each other alone. But barring those types of extreme circumstances where there's just no way, don't go out there to them streets. Don't go over there. There is nothing in the street but hyenas. There's nothing but men that's going to see you. And if they have any inkling of what or how you left the covering of a good husband to come out there and play with them and be nothing to them when you was everything to that man, and now you come out to these men just to be nothing to them, they gonna treat you like nothing. They gonna treat you like the nothing that you came over there to be to them. They will not put the value on you that a husband that's been treating you well is going to put on you. The boneyard is nobody's friend. Going out there, see, it just don't make no sense. Going out there to do what with them men? To be sexed by them? And then what? After they give you some D that you ain't never had before, or you ain't never had it from him, then what? Because they not gonna cover you. Just like Ruminant said, in order for a woman to truly appreciate the covering of a man, she have to have had it for a substantial amount of time and then lost it. And that is a lesson life taught me. And I wasn't even an ungrateful wife. I knew well the covering that I had. I understood it quite well. I understood it so well that my current husband will never have to worry about me being ungrateful for his covering. Because see, he's not gonna have to go and come back to make me value his covering. Because I already know what it feels like to have covering and then not have it. The difference, day and night. It's day and night. You think it ain't no difference until you have to face the difference. You'll never have to worry about me talking about what I don't need and how I don't need him and what he can do. No. I fear the day. Do you understand me? Do you understand? I know for reality what death do us part feel like. I fear the day that if I happen to outlive that man, do you understand? I don't think you do. Because I told him I'm coming with you. You can go first if you want to. You're going to leave me here. I'm coming with you. You know how them old couples, one pass and then the other one pass right behind it? That's what we're going to be. It's not a game. Flouting your husband's covering, doing away with it, and then floating around out there like it's something better out there. Like you about to really live your best life. No, you won't. No, you won't. No, you won't. You will not live your best life. I guarantee you, you won't. You will not live your best life. You will live one of the lowest periods of self-doubt, doubting your self-worth, and slightly your sanity. Because it's cold out there. It's cold out there. It's not warm. It's not happy. It's not a sunny day. It's a cold day. A lot of cold days. The things that you took for granted, the so-called little things that your husband did, the little covering that he did. Oh, how they loom large when they're not there. And I not only felt that for my late husband, I felt that when my father passed. Do you understand? It wasn't just that covering, it's the covering that the men in your life give you. I had a literal feeling of being vulnerable in this world. My father was the last line of defense for that before I got married again. The sheer vulnerability of it. You gotta do everything yourself. Everything. The things that you thought was small, that you took for granted. So I can do that myself. I don't need him to do that. I don't need him to do that. See, it's a good thing I was never of that mindset, no way, about what I didn't need. Stupid stuff. But I know that's how a lot of y'all think. That's the message that you're getting off of this social media. I can do that. And what he doing, I mean, I can do that. Yeah, you probably could. But you can't cover yourself. You can't cover yourself. Women cannot cover themselves. Women cannot cover themselves. Coverage comes from men. Something go wrong, you can't call nobody. The nighttime come and you can't confide in the man that love you. This is why my husband ain't got to worry about me talking about what I don't need from him and how I can do stuff myself. No, I can't. No, I can't. I cannot even express to you, and really not him, of the amount of gratitude that I have for his covering, because I can't cover myself. And I know that. That's why it don't make no sense when y'all give y'all husband unnecessary trouble. Why you give him unnecessary trouble? Why you argue unnecessarily? Fussing and complaining and all that kind of stuff when it don't be necessary. It's because you ungrateful for the covering that he give you, because he been giving it to you so consistently. Do you understand? He been giving it to you so consistently, so without break, without you even noticing it. The way he covered you, it's been so consistent. It's just been there. But you will understand it when it go away. Whether it's because you filed stupid papers and you left and then you see that the streets don't love nobody? I'm going to read these super chats. Thank you, Quantum Solace said, great message of wisdom. Thank you so much. Thank you, Lucky Lefty said, hey, Kendra, Tia's graduation made her believe she could date like in the 20s. Nothing looks more pathetic than a woman over 40s talking about a rotation. They don't understand how it looks. Thank you, Ayatollah, for your contribution. I appreciate you. Miss Kenya said, why do some men dangle it over women's heads? I think that when women start to resent the covering, when it's always being threatened, please don't attack me, people. I'm just saying. No attack. But I will say this. Miss Kenya. Men who are really taking care of their wives would never bring up how they take care of their wives. And try to threaten them about the coverage that they give them. I think the only time that I've ever seen men who I knew was on a square say that to a woman is when she showed extreme ingratitude for it. Because they was trying to get her to understand that you don't understand how I cover you. You think it's just this thing and just that thing and just that thing. It's like 20 other things that I never tell you about that I cover you. And because you want to be ungrateful like all the time, then it make me bring up what I do. Because sometimes that'll make you bring up what you do. And you might not even be the type of person to bring up stuff you do for people. But sometimes the ingratitude be so, the entitlement be so on 10. It's like, hold on, let me bring you down. Let me let you know what it really is. Because I don't think you understand. I think your head in the clouds, but let me bring it back down to reality. You don't know what I do for you. Let me name a couple of things. So you don't even know how that was working. You know what I mean? I think when women display consistent ingratitude and entitlement to men's covering, I think if they do that excessively, then men will be like, nah. See, now I gotta let you know what it really is, because you acting like you don't understand it. And maybe you don't understand it, but I'm gonna let you understand it today. Just like I'm gonna remind y'all of just recently when we was looking at the video of the woman that was talking about how she was clowning with her husband and he left her out, put her out the car and he left. See, that's sometimes what men have to do to let you know you don't know how I cover you. So let me don't cover you. I won't cover you. Since you cool, since it's neither here nor there for you, My covering is neither here nor there. Okay, then let it neither be here nor there. And we'll see what you do. We'll see what you do. We know me. And it's not even boastful. It's just like, you know what? You doing too much. You doing way too much. Way too much. But I can teach you better than I can tell you. I can show you better than I can tell you. Sometimes it be a case of that. I can show you better than I can tell you. I want to get out. Get out. Huh? Get out. Since that's what we doing. You grown, right? You can handle it. Correct. That's what you told me. Told me, leave you alone. Told me you wanted to get out the car. Told me, go ahead on. You got this. Well, you got it. Left her there. Sat somewhere and just watched her. She's somewhere panicking, don't know what to do. Don't know where to turn and don't know how to be. Just lost and turned out. But he left her there about 45 minutes. Wasn't even my hour. It wasn't even an hour. You want to act a fool? Okay. I don't cover you. Okay. I ain't nothing. Oh, okay. I'm not valuable. Okay. Okay. We're gonna go on a little strikey strike. See what happens. I'm gonna take my covering away for about an hour or less, and we'll see how you fare. She was right round the corner from where they were supposed to be and didn't even know. She didn't even know it. But with that being said, I'm going to go ahead and wrap this up. Jump down in the comment section. Let me know what you think. Like, share, subscribe to the channel if you have not. Once again, I'm your hostess, The Crimson Cure, and this was my perspective. Bye-bye, Crimsonites.